Okay? Any questions on that? By the way, guys, if you want to see what it looks like, we've got some alpha revision buttons on this station that Kim is at. So if you guys want to look at it, like on a break or something, you're welcome to. We just haven't rolled those out yet because the alpha revision ones still have a little bit of work to be done on the bleed through. So what you see there isn't what's shipping, but we did set up a station just to see what it would look like. Now, besides naming, engraving, we also have to take into consideration LED behavior. This is the LED that you see out to the right of the button. There are a number of different things that we can get that LED to do. For example, the default setting, push-release, means that the color of the LED will be based on if you're pushing the button or you're not pushing the button. So that idea of push or release. Just like our on and off LED colors, you can come into this box, click on it, and pick whatever color you want it to be. There are other behaviors though as well. So for example, program LED behavior. If you were to choose that, the LED color doesn't change based on when you push and release the button. What it is based on is custom programming that you'll set up tomorrow to tell it to go to a certain color. Maybe I want this button to be an indicator to tell me if I left my garage door up, because this is the anxiety of many homeowners, including myself. Where I go to bed and I get really concerned of, did I remember to close the garage door? Well, now I can look at the keypad in my bedroom, and based on the color of that keypad, it tells me, green, the garage door is closed. Red, it's open. So I know at any given moment. One other behavior will come into play in just a little bit, this follow-bound device. Probably won't make a lot of sense this first time I explain it, but I'll do it anyway. What we can do is we can assign a button to control a light. Right? So right now, that's what that rocker switch does already. But what if I wanted the button in my kitchen to control, let's say, the light in the living room? Well, I can set it up in my programming to make it do that. So it has a three-way functionality that Gordon talked about earlier today. Well, I probably want the LED colors to also reflect the status of that light. We call that a bound device, and we want the LED colors to follow the bound device. And that's what this property is. But we'll come back and configure those later. For right now, push-release behavior is fine. And then as we start to make programming changes to these buttons, we'll make decisions as to what we want them to do. But for right now, we have a 2-space button that says music. We're going to do another single-space button. And was this one called Next? Is that right? I cannot remember.
Yes.
Okay. Next. And what does this button say?
Join.
Join. This one is room off, right?
And mute.
Room off / mute.
Can you show them an icon there? And just the room off was pretty cool.
Sure. So if we wanted to, we could always just put some sort of an icon in there. Again, we're not engraving these, so we don't need to worry about them. So as far as you're concerned for your activities, you don't need to do any engraving. All right, last.
Okay.
That's an up-down button. Now, you might notice if you were to add the up-down button, it will only allow you to put it at the bottom. That's the only place that it will allow you to do a split button. And it has some interesting button behavior as well. There is a regular button behavior, which is what it sounds like. It just works like a normal button. But there's also the ability to track the last button that was pressed. which now gives it a myriad of potential options.
So you could theoretically have that one, if you click the follow, you could have, click one and the two buttons could do that light, click the second one.
And it'll do a different
That
set of
light.
lights. Yep. And in fact, Murray, what we're going to do is we're going to make that happen as through the course of this class, so you'll start to see some of that coming together. For right now, we're gonna leave this as a regular button, but eventually, yes, we will incorporate and make it so that we have the ability to track the last button pressed, adjust light levels, perhaps adjust volume, blinds. There's a lot of different functions there, so you'll know when the application comes into play. But as far as music goes, I'm assuming that the volume is going to be the same regardless of the source, so we don't need to do any sort of track last button functionality. So there we go. And as you see, the up-down buttons can't be engraved either. Only single, double, and triple space buttons can be engraved. So any questions there on setting up your keypad? We get a lot of chances to do this, so we have plenty of opportunities. Now again, it's got those backlight profiles. Don't really need to make any adjustments to these right now because we haven't engraved any of the buttons, so it doesn't really matter. And if you happen to be installing new Control4 hardware where existing Control4 hardware already was, maybe I had a 6-button keypad, I'm putting in the newer generation stuff, there is a replace legacy device button that will copy over all of your programming. So that could be a huge time saver. So be aware of that. All right, let's take another 10 minutes and do activity number 3 here on page 6.